Let's check out our Lance truck bed camper. We're gonna go upstairs and check her out. So some of these issues, this is pretty common down here. You have another one up here. These are frame failures. So we're gonna look into those ones. Customer, I believe, wants to deal with these ones. So we'll check those out. But there's another one right here. See them all? Those are frame failures because it's just tag welded. The aluminum is just tag welded. You know, with I call it a snot weld because they're real small welds. And I've probably pulled out bigger boogers than what they use to weld it. So all that motion and commotion and the weight of that slide caused them to fail. So, but these are your typical, you know, put more on type roof. You know, and as a rule, Lance usually puts down a pretty good membrane. The membrane in itself is usually pretty thick, but without curbs, it doesn't matter. Even the membrane we use, you don't put curbs on it, it's going to leak. You need to have curbs. So, not really liking the way this is. I'd like to see that a little smoother so it doesn't collect up water and sit there. But that's, I don't know, that elevation right there is, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. So we do something about it. So I'm going to check out what we got here and see what we can do, but we'll be omitting this and I'm going to salvage the, we'll be saving the solar, and I think this is about us. So let's get this thing tore apart so you can see what we got. I'm going to put these back.
Solar wire coming up through the...
Oh yeah, someone get the plumbing coming up through the solar wire.
In the bathroom.
I'll have to negotiate that. But anyhow, let's tear some of this apart. See what we got. But I don't like all that mess right there. We see a lot of issues with the air conditioners. You know, the gasket's failing, but all that debris gets up underneath there. So we'll see how this one fares. A lot of them we see there's some sort of evidence of water coming into it, but that's why you want them on a curb, because it'll keep all that debris out from underneath the foam gasket. That's something you can't do with a spray-on or roll-on roof. They're just copying the same thing. They're just slobbering over all of this and spraying on it. But you know, you do need to have the skylights, the vents, the ACs. You need to have these things, even the antennas. Everything needs to be elevated up off the roof line. That's how a flat roof works. So now all that debris gets up inside there, and I mean, you can see it. You can see it's all filthy. It dries out the gasket. When it dries out the gasket, and the gasket fails, and then you have these chronic leaks. You're not going to see a big deluge of water. You probably won't. By the time you see something, you've already got damage. So let us see what's going on with that. And then if you do have one of these, there's a screw here, a screw here. There's one right here. You want to try to make sure that's sealed, and a lot of people do not seal inside there, and then, you know, the driving rain, the water will get up inside there and it'll kind of get behind and roll down behind there. So make sure, if you've got one of those, you want to make sure they're sealed. So, and we're going to be getting these wires up off the roof. We don't keep them on there like that. So we're going to clean this thing up. Alright, let's get to work, and we'll keep you up. We got a few things off of here. Look at all this damage right here. You saw all that caulking that was all slobbered on there, and that's water damage. I mean, that's already, you can see how wet that is. We have you can put a moisture meter to it, but I know it's wet. And then where do you see the other? I guess put it in there. Let's show our fans. Bing. See the light? Zip. That means it's overload. It's soaked. So then we got the AC pulled up, so I don't see anything under here. Well, that's a plus. I don't see any damage underneath there. We'll peel that up, but that's, like I said, the membrane's pretty good. So where is the water coming from? Oh, is it coming? Oh, it's underneath there? Wow. Yeah. I'm sure that's so. Oh, there you go. You got a knife? Just slice that roof in there. See how bad it is.
Yeah, you can see all that.
Yeah. Okay, you can see all the layers they got. They're still wet. Look at this here. It don't even stick. Get some water under there. Alright. Well, we shall continue and see how much damage we get. It's looking like got a significant amount of water in here. I'm hoping the whole thing isn't soaked in there. Maybe.
Is that wood? Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, that's a wood right there. That's soaked. Yep, you can see it. I can press right there. You can see it on my finger. Wow. You know, this is what I mean. This stuff is deceptive. This isn't the way you seal a roof. So, you know, normally people would look at it and go, hey, you know what, you could spray over this. It's not going to solve your problem. It's not going to solve the problem, no curbs. It's not going to solve the problem like that. But if it was that good, if the products worked that well, if the machine worked that well, the system worked that well, to spray on and roll on, I'd just do it. You know, I just want to put on the best roof possible so people don't have any issues, so they don't have to deal with it anymore. So when I did commercial work, I had all those sprayers, I had all those machines. They're, you know, upwards of $30,000. But if you need them, you need them. But they just don't. It's not the right system for an RV. All right, so this is what we got. This was set down inside here. This is all soaked, absolutely soaked. Look how rotted that is. So we finally got that freed up. So now we'll see what the rest of the roof deck looks like. But if you look at it, you'd swear it was all sealed. Look how wet this is. This is from that cargo rack there. Here's a center one. These things are leaking. I don't know what this one's like. Pop that one loose. Oh wow. Look at there. These are all leaking. So I'd say the self-leveling is not the way you use to seal a roof. That one all boogered up too?
Yeah, leaking.
Oh, it was leaking? Yeah. Oh wow. You can see all that water in there. I'm sure that was the same.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big damage.
It's damp, but not soaked as that one, that's for sure. You see the same there? Look at all that. This one don't look nearly as bad as the one over there. It's got water in there, but it's sitting on the roof membrane. It's a little better. Well, this is the hot mess you got. So one of the reasons why we didn't have any issue with the AC is they did fold this down, and that just prevented it from going here. I don't know what the sealing's like. It may be okay. And that gasket may have just fared well. It just may not have failed yet, so I didn't check the gasket out. So that's good luck, put it that way. But oh wow, yeah. Oh, it just flipped up. That whole thing is rotted. That's a man. Is that wet? Wow, look how dark that is. Go get the mold kill, spray it down. Yeah, don't keep pulling all that up. Soak it down. So then we come up to the front. Had some issues right here. Got some wetness right there. We've got some rot. Over on that side there. Yeah, back up a little bit. So let's see what we can do with that. But this is all soaked right here. Got a little bit of work ahead of us. We were hoping this is just going to be a peel off on a roof, to be honest with you. But this right here is all wet. This.
Video.
So, all right. So this is the crack. See that thing coming loose? Let's see if I get that in there. Where am I? There, I got I see what's going on. But that piece, I think I'm hitting the. All right, try it now. That's what it is. You can see that piece moving right in there. They didn't weld this bottom one right here. This got a little snot weld up here, but this one isn't. That's what caused this to. So now when the slide comes out, it's pushing on that wall, and then that's what causes the stress. Plus the jack's coming up and down and all that movement. It's got the same issue down there on this one, but it's going to be real hard for me to even show that. I don't even know if we can open it up. I'll get my little camera in here. And my little flashlight. Try this flashlight. Give me a second.
You can see right here where the weld has got a hole in it.
Let's see. It's right there. You can see it wiggling down there. Hopefully you can. That's what it is. It's the same piece down here. This one. And it's breached right here where it meets this king jack. So that's what it is because they don't weld them good enough. And then there's another crack down here. Right down. I can't really see. Right there. There's another crack, and then there's yet one more way down by the under the jack. So all that collapsing underneath is what's causing this to kind of fall. So
Very cheaply made on it.
Lance is supposed to be the best. We're the best. So you got one right here, and this is the other one. So if all this is collapsed, that's what's sitting on there, and everything is just kind of bouncing down. So with all, especially with the weight of the slide, it's just pressing on there. You know. So I'm wondering if even if I try to fix this, this really gets me curious to know what's going on here, what caused this to stress out. Because that king jack is in there. Did they splice it together? I don't know. I don't know what they did, but I'd have to take the whole thing apart to find out. I don't know if we're gonna go there. We gotta see if the customer wants to go there. All right, so we've got the roof all cleaned up. All the decking is out, most of which. Some of that up there is still there. I'll show you that in a second. But we had all that rod around the ladder, so we put new pieces in here. We added a little truss right here, reframed out all the boxes so we have something to screw to. And then what we did here is this is some steel, and we're going to clad over this with another piece, so with another piece of decking. So we're going to sandwich this in here. This is for solar. He wants to put the solar up here. So that's the way you're supposed to do it. This 1/8 inch right here, that into the foam, that's not enough to hold a solar panel. So if y'all are doing it, I highly not recommend it. So we put a new 2x in here, and then obviously clad it over that. So we're getting ready now to put the plywood down. We just put some tape on here just to prevent from, there are some wires here, just so it doesn't, all the adhesive we use doesn't get all wound up in there. If someone ever had to pull a wire or something from whichever way, it's not all jammed up in there. So that's about us. We're not going to do this slide out here. The customer wants to do it himself. He said he can handle that. I said that's cool. And so let us get this decking down. Alrighty, so passenger side, we got to finish rolling that out. This driver's side's already been done. So you can see we got our strips in here. We laminated down some new plywood to the foam. We showed you all the repairs. We put a protective piece on the shoulder here. So now when we pull the roofing over, the siding isn't going to chafe or irritate the main roof. So you can see it's all ready to roll out. That's all we got to do, and then we can start just putting in the vents and so forth, put all the curves on and get it all pulled together. So here's our skylight, and this is a solar fan, and that is an intake. So the reason we put that in there is a lot of times you'll see the decking get rotted out due to basically it's condensation. So here's obviously the outside of the lens. It's getting cold out these days, so you get some frost on here. When the frost is on here, it's actually on the inside as well. So now the sun comes up, it evaporates this off. But what's up underneath here, it doesn't get evaporated, what happens is it diffuses and it turns into, basically it's more condensation and just starts trickling down. And when it does, it could get into the curb, or in a lot of campers that don't have curbs, it will get into the roof deck, and the roof deck will start wicking it up. Then the sealant will break loose because now the screws aren't holding it, so people keep going and over and over and over it again with self-leveling. That just doesn't work. So, because the screws aren't holding it down. So what we did, now when the sun comes up to evaporate this off, this solar fan kicks on, draws the air from over there, and you can see right here, we got these little ventilation holes. There's the same on this side right here. So you have your inner lens in here, and your inner lens is going to pull the air up over the inner lens and down through to come out here to exhaust. So I put this little strike here on there, and the purpose of that is just in case. I mean, these are going to crack. I know they are. I can't warranty the lenses, but if they do crack, I don't want them to get down into the roof deck or behind the curb or anything like that. So what I did was I wrapped all this. It's all cladded in aluminum. So now if it does leak, or when it cracks, if it does, it'll go right down into the shower. That's it. It'll go down the drain. And what that little lip is for is so if it does crack over in that area or this area, it won't get in those holes and get down that way, so it'll just bleed off, you know, roll off to the sides. So that's why we did it that way. So that's the whole principle to this, and it seems to be pretty successful. So I'll go over the rest of this afterwards. Right now we're just still doing some welding over here, and basically we heat it up with this hair dryer on steroids, and it gets all heated down, like literally it melts together. That's the whole principle of it. That's the way the commercial roofs are done, all heat welded. So you don't need any lap sealant. There's no need for it. Doesn't go anywhere. All right, so what we did now, we got the air conditioner. We take the cover off. We just want to clean it. We want to make sure there's no debris or anything in there. So you wash it out. You can see we got some water on the floor. But that's your drain ports. They're right up in here. So probably hard to see, but they're down in that corner. And if you reach up underneath here, that's how far in it is. So we just want to make sure they're all clear and it's draining properly and there isn't any debris. We pulled up big wasp nests and everything out of these things. So, so that's all we're doing now. We're prepping it for the stands because we got a couple of stands that are going in the back to keep it balanced. When we put it there's a porthole right there. So we're actually, and look how small that is. I mean, that is really small. It's about the size of a pen tip. That doesn't give a lot of room to get all that debris, dust, dirt that gets in there. Because the air gets pulled up through here. This is your evaporator. And then it gets blown back down through here. That's how it cycles around, just like that. So all that condensation, when it's pulling it up from your cabin, is pulling it up and you'll get dust and everything on there. And that's why we took this off to clean it. So you just can take a wire brush and just wash it down. You can put some foam and bubbles on there. Just wash it out. It's not really that difficult. But we're going to open this up a little bit to get a little more, you know, open that thing up so it'll drain better. So that's all we do. We just open that hole up a little better, get better drainage. All right, we're done with our lance. Ready to go. We put that stamp on there just so we can keep track of it. The customer comes back for inspection so we know when it was done, how the roof's performing. We want to thank the customer for bringing this coach in. We appreciate it. He drove, I don't think he was too far. I think he's Tennessee. But we want to thank him nonetheless. It doesn't matter where he came from. We appreciate it. Some people drive a long way here. We did have some issues here. We still have them. On that end, I believe I showed all that. Down here is another crack, I believe, down the bottom of this one, of the slide, and also on the corner of this other slide right here, right down that corner, there's a plate. Customer feels like that's something he can do, so we're going to just let him handle it. But there's a lot of work to try to get all that back together. But he seems to be a pretty handy guy, so have at it, I guess. All right, so the roof itself, this is a 20-year membrane on this roof. That's what it is. I don't like to throw around the word lifetime. I think I've already probably gone over all of that. But you don't have to take this roof up. So all those coatings that you see, they're really designed for commercial roofs like this. They're not really designed for your typical RV roof that doesn't have curbs. So, you know, that said, you don't ever have to take this roof off. This is a 60 mil, that's the thickness of it. It's a 60 mil commercial grade, what's called TPO. And TPO is a thermoplastic. Thermoplastic allows us to weld things together. So all of these boots, I custom made every one of these boots. Everything you see, even these ones here for the ladder. So one's the curves for the vents, obviously. Plumbing right here. And then this is a solar fan. And if you remember back in the video, I was showing you how we did the ventilation system. So that's an intake. So now this fan will kick on. It'll keep that cavity because it's got an inner lens. So there's just a cavity. There's no air in there. And then it can build up some heat and get some dry rot. I already went over some of that stuff there with the condensation. But that's what it's for. So that'll kick right on. And these are just, you know, Chinese solar fans. So, obviously I can't warranty them. We don't warranty lenses either. What we warranty is that the roof isn't going to leak. The roof system, meaning the curbs and all of that. Obviously, if a lens cracks, we can't warranty that. So we've got everything all heat welded together, so there is no need for any self-leveling. It's done. There's no need for it. You have no place to put it. All of this is all welded together. Made this other custom one for this antenna that he had, and you can see we put the solar on here with these galvanized boots. Made these little boots as well. So now it's on there. It ain't going anywhere. But we did put plate in here. I think I showed that earlier. There's plate in here. That's the way you do these roofs. This is a ply foam roof. So if you just take it and screw it down into it without a plate in there, then you have a risk and a potential of these things blowing off. So you have wind coming up from underneath, but also the wind that goes over is actually pulling up. A lot of people think it presses down. It doesn't do that. You may see campers going down the road and you'll see, the roof's puffing up. That's because of that vortex. It's kind of pulling it, right? So what this is here, this is just to run the solar wires. I want to keep them up off the roof line, so it just runs it along there. You can see all the zip ties in there. So that keeps all the water to be able to flow properly. And then, we made this custom curb right here for this escape hatch. You're not going to find this work anywhere else. This is the way it's supposed to be done. This is a real commercial roof. Same exact roof system you'd find on a hotel, office building, library. Same exact material, same exact installation. What I do is I custom make all of these to fit and function for an RV. Even this little curb for, obviously, the little fan. So I make them all to fit. And we get the AC, same thing. It has a curb on it. All the curbs I do, they have what's called counter flashing. So what happens is when the water is running across the roof, whether you're even sitting still or even traveling, and that water is just pounding away, it's going to come up and then it gets washed away. It gets washed around. So it can't keep jumping up and getting into, and basically you're minimizing an erosion effect is what it does. So this counter flash is right here. This is what it is. And all the curbs have them, and even the AC. So now when the rain comes down from the AC, you got blowing rain coming in. There's just a foam gasket up underneath there. So this piece here, that's another piece of counter flash. And what it does, it tucks up underneath this lid. So now when the water comes down, it's going to hit that, and then it goes down below the counter flash to the roof here and washes out. So I keep the water away from that foam gasket. That's the whole idea to it. Then we just put a couple of stands on the back right there. There's one on the other side. Those stands just give it some balance. Now you can, all of this stuff that we do here, if somebody needs to replace a vent, they can do it themselves. They need to replace skylight, they can do it themselves if they want to. Need to replace a fan, anything. Now the plumbing, you don't have to worry about. Even if you pop this off, the way I design these is that the rain will just get down into a holding tank, and I doubt you're going to fill up your holding tank even with the heaviest rain. But it's not going to leak into the roof is my point. And the same with that. That's all sealed up. It can't go anywhere. What we also do with that is, because since it is a breather, there's a screen in it, but we put another piece on the inside of it up on there because I don't want any hornets or wasps or anything trying to make a home in there. So you saw that we cleaned out the AC, got that all done. We already had it in our hands, so I say, well, what the heck, let's at least take a look at it. We opened up the drain ports a little bit so it'll drain better. So we got all that squared away. So it's ready to roll. And like I said, this is a 60 mil 20-year membrane. And the way the warranty works is real simple. You bring it back to us every year, and if there's any issue at all, then we're going to take care of it. That's as easy as it is, barring like a tree branch ripping through it or something. That's something I can't warranty. But I'm saying if there's any other issues that may come up, then we'll take care of it, even if it means we have to go back in and replace decking or a ceiling. If we have to, we will. So we'll stand behind the collateral damage. I don't know any other company that does that. A lot of these companies, they'll say, hey, we'll warranty this and that. For instance, on a spray or roll-on roof, they don't warranty AC leaks. I think I mentioned that. They don't warranty that. So you still experience those leaks. What's his name? Lee Thaxton over with RV Armor. He has a video where he clearly says you may experience leaks with your air conditioner. And if you do, to tighten down the bolts. That's not really the right information to give you, because those bolts onto these air conditioners need to be torqued. So if your gasket is failing, it needs to be replaced for sure. But you're still going to get debris, you're still going to get pollen, you're still going to get these elements that get into that gasket on a typical roof system where they just put everything right down to the roof. Curbs are an essential part of how a flat roof functions. I've had some people argue with me and say, hey, this isn't a flat roof, but there's no such thing as a flat roof. All roofs have some sort of slope to them to direct water, but it could be a flat, for all practical purposes, is a flat roof. Even some that have what basically a little bit of camber to them, then that's still considered a flat roof or a low sloped roof. And these curbs are essential to make sure those roofs function properly. So we were able to get, obviously you can see we got his rails back on. We put them on there, and then he was talking about maybe putting a kayak up here, I guess. So the maintenance on this is real simple. Soap and water. Wash it a couple times a year. If you really wanted to bring it through a truck wash, you could. You could pressure wash it. It washes up real easy. You literally can just take a soft bristle brush, dish soap, wash it, rinse it. It's done. Very resilient. So we get 2 strikes of caulking along the gutter here. So we get an adhesive sealant behind the gutter itself. Once that goes on, we strike it down. And then when that cures, we go over it with another layer. And when that cures, we go over it with another layer. So you can see all the caulking we've got around all these screw holes. And that's important to keep these tight. I'm not really a fan of the way Lance does these type of awnings, or excuse me, the gutter rails. It's because the screws are exposed. I like the ones that have the track in them. So we did put gutter spouts on the front right here to get this water directed over. We want to get it off the roof. And the back has the same over here. It's got the same. So that's about the extent of it. Obviously he needs to get a new awning on here, awning fabric. But otherwise it's ready to go. We appreciate everybody watching, and skip the ads if I didn't tell you that. Skip them. And maybe we'll start doing some other videos where there'll be part 1, part 2, part 3 or something like that. I know some of those ads can get annoying. We don't monetize. That's a YouTube thing. We put these videos up so the customer can see all the work we did, and I know other folks watch them. So, and we appreciate that for sure. But I know when I get on YouTube and watch some stuff, I certainly don't want to be going every 5 minutes I got to watch a minute of a commercial of some nonsense. So like I said, if you want to skip through them, go right ahead. It doesn't make a big difference to us at all. We just appreciate y'all watching. So we're not YouTube contenters. I think that's what they call them. I'm just a guy with a camera showing some information, and then we just take the clips, upload them, put a transition between them, and then upload them. So there's no editing to what you see. I try to show as much as I can. We don't quote on social media, so if you have any questions, just give us a call, and we'll be glad to help you out with some questions on your particular coach. So here's all our information right here, and then we do offer the tan, the gray, and the white. Those are standard colors, but this material is, see if you can notice it, but if I get the light just right, you can see those little squares in there. Those little squares, this is a reinforced membrane. This is, again, the same exact membrane you're going to find on a hospital, a restaurant, a library, office building. Same exact membrane. On a commercial level, it starts off at 45 mils. So that's entry. So not only do we take you out of RV roof, and put you into a commercial roof, we actually upgraded you one more level up on that commercial entry level, right, from a 45 to a 60, so which is thicker. These roofs are a lot cooler, so they're going to keep you a lot cooler. These roof systems will, because they're designed for that. They're designed to be on massive buildings, so and they come in a, you know, huge 10-foot roll, 10-foot wide, 100-foot long rolls. So I have to buy them quantities at a time for sure, but I buy them at the same place that anybody who's doing a hotel, office building, library, where they buy it. They get the same stuff. It's all commercial. There's nothing here that is RV grade at all. And in fact, if it says RV on it, I would recommend you not using it. It just is not a good product. I find that a lot of these companies and manufacturers, they jumped on the bandwagon to try to sell things to RVers, because RVers aren't really all that savvy about roof systems and certain things, and they take, you know, what the RV industry tells them. They go, oh, well, they must be right. They're telling me this. You know, they designed it. No, they just want to make your money. You know, they just want to watch it fail so they can sell you some more product. They make over $1 billion a year in self-leveling, conditioners, and coatings. So you shouldn't have to be going around every, you know, few months with some more self-leveling. This roof, you never have to do it. We have never have had to recaulk a coach at all, but everything we use is all commercial grade. So well, like I said, we appreciate you watching. If you got any questions, give us a call, and we'd be glad to help you out. And I don't know if you like the video. I think in that algorithm thing, they say if you hit the like, then other people can find it. I'm not all that savvy with it. Like I said, I just run around with this camera a little bit and just show you what's going on. And hopefully I showed you some stuff where you can either make adjustments with yours, but if you want a permanent roof, you want to be done with it, you don't want to mess with it, you don't want to step foot on it, this is the place to go. You won't have to deal with anything. Like I said, we offer free inspections. So can't beat that either. And also a transferable warranty. So that's the whole idea of our little stamp right here. That's so, you know, when someone comes in, they want to buy it, you know, he sells it to them, he said, hey, I just had a roof put on. They call us up, they come in for an inspection, we just flip the warranty. We don't even charge for that either. So like I said, we appreciate y'all watching, and I guess we'll see you on the next one. Right. So in our care package, we have caulking, we got primer, we have got 2 patches. Those are heat patches. We got a patch peel and stick pack. We got a checker tool. We've got a magnet. And the rest of this is just pens, keychains, brush, nozzle. Okay, so if we have a hole in the roof, it will simulate a hole. You can do hole simulations. We say we got a hole there. Here's your tree branch come through, and you're like, oh man, I got a hole in my roof, it's leaking. So what you want to do? And it's raining out. Right now it's raining. You're like, crap, I gotta stop that leak. You want to get in there, and if you can't get that nozzle in there, don't worry about it. Make it a little bigger. What you try and do, you need to get up underneath the roofing, like this. This is what we need to do, get up underneath the roofing. Then you're going to take and you're going to put this up inside there, and you're going to squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hopefully this thing is plugged up. There it goes. You squeeze, squeeze. You want to try and get up underneath this part too. Squeeze up underneath there. Put some more underneath there. Well, we are getting this thing all boogered up. Then what we're going to do, you're going to push it together. See how it oozes out? That's sealed. You're done. This is a moisture cured product. So what? It's a hot mess. Looks terrible. Who cares? Keep the water out. So now, the next day, we're going to go up there, and that's going to be cured looking like that. So we're going to take a knife, and you just shave it down. Just shave it down with a knife. I'm just going to obviously wipe this off. Now you say, hey, I want something a little better than that. So what we're going to do is get some cleaner. This is a terrible rag. You got another one. You got one on you? Oh, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag, get a rag. Hey, what are you doing? What you gonna talk about, man? No, just leave it alone. Oh, leave it alone right now. We're recording now? Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright, so now we cleaned it off with a knife. I just washed that off because it's still wet. Take that off. So now we got a patch. This is a peel and stick patch. We're going to take that, we're going to center it over there. Just take a pen and go around like this. I like to kind of put a dash like that so I know who's where, what, and where, and how. So now there's what I got. So in the package we got primer. We also have a brush. You're going to take that, you're going to go all inside the square. You're also going to go outside this square about 3/8 of an inch. Outside about 3/8 of an inch or so. Once you get that, there's a film on the back. You peel the film, now you know which side you are, see, because there's your marks. And you peel that film back. Get the fingers in there to get the film off of this thing. This is just a regular roof tape. That's all it is. We put them in all the care packages. Get that daggone thing off of there. Probably need some fingernails. Probably help. Come on. There it is. Okay. Oop, there it is. Now you got the film. You take that film. So now we're going to line it back up with this. We already got the primer under there. You just peel the film back, and as you do, you just rub it down like this. Sometimes that film will get a little stuck in there. This is just a butyl. You just kind of try to keep it as even as you can and flat as you can. Boom, you're done. There it is. So now, out here, this is where your primer is. You put the primer on there. You got primer there, and now you're going to put primer here. You want to prime all this area with your brush. Prime all that. Then you're going to come back. Once you get it all primed, then you're going to put a little bit of caulking on it, just like this. That's simple. If it doesn't all sit in there, you can always take your finger and go around it if you want. We're trying to obviously stop a leak and make one of. There's going to be a little more permanent of a patch than just that plug that we did when it was raining. So now that we get that all done, what the whole purpose of it is this part here. This part underneath here, that's a butyl. When the sun hits that, if you didn't have the caulking on there, it will cause it to release and curl up just like I'm doing here. And it'll start coming loose. That's why you need the primer. That's why when you prime it, you're going to prime on top of this because nothing will stick to it. Nothing, the caulking will not stick to this patch and it won't stick to the roof unless you use the primer. That's how you do a patch. Ta-da! All done.